All right, let's dive into the world of paper pulp molding operators. You ready? We're talking interview prep today, so we're going deep with RoleCatcher's guides, both the career and interview ones. I gotta say, these things are packed with good stuff.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see how this whole field is changing and growing, So today we'll look at what the job actually is, the skills you really need, and of course, how to totally nail those interview questions.
Love it. Let's jump right into that interview prep, shall we? RoleCatcher points out this one question a lot of folks get. Can you describe your experience operating paper pulp molding machines? I mean, what if you haven't actually worked on those exact machines before? How do you even answer that?
That's where, those transferable skills come in handy. Like, think about any experience you've had with, well, any machines, really, or any kind of manufacturing process, or even just working in a place where things move fast.
Right, right.
Like, have you ever operated a forklift or worked on an assembly line? Even managing a busy kitchen, like in a restaurant or something, that could show you can handle the pressure and follow those procedures.
So basically, you're saying it's about those underlying skills that show you can learn new stuff quickly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But what if this is your very first job in manufacturing,
Yeah, that's a good point.
You got to be honest about it. Say, I'm really eager to learn, and then focus on those skills you can transfer over. Like maybe you've taken some tech courses, or you love DIY projects, even building a really complex Lego set. It's all about showing them you can figure out how things work.
I love that. Show them you're a natural problem solver.
Yeah.
And actually, RoleCatcher's AI can analyze those job descriptions and tell you exactly what skills to highlight. It's like a cheat sheet, but like a super smart one.
Absolutely. Okay, so moving on, there's this other question that goes a bit deeper. How do you ensure that the paper pulp molding machine is operating at maximum efficiency? Now, this is where you got to show you're not just pushing buttons, you get the bigger picture.
Okay, yeah, this is the kind of question that would make me nervous. Like, what are they really looking for here?
They want to see that you're proactive, detail-oriented, talk about how you'd keep an eye on how the machine is doing, how you'd run quality checks, and if you understand how much output it should have. Have you ever had a job where hitting production goals was like super important? Tell them about it. Show you're all about efficiency.
So showing you can analyze the process, spot issues before they happen,
Yeah.
and actually take the initiative to, like, fix them.
Exactly. And don't forget to mention that you'd talk to your supervisor or maintenance if something was up. Teamwork is huge in manufacturing. And hey, don't forget, RoleCatcher's Copilot AI can help you practice those answers and get them just right. Think of it like a practice run before the big game.
That makes me feel way more prepared, seriously. Okay, this next one from RoleCatcher sounds a bit scary, though. How do you troubleshoot issues with the paper pulp molding machine? I'm no mechanic,
You don't have to be. It's all about your problem-solving skills here. Do you have a system for figuring out what's wrong and fixing it? Maybe you start by looking for the obvious stuff, then check the manual, and if all else fails, get someone who knows more involved, right?
Yeah, it's like have a process, use your resources, and know when to ask for help. Smart.
Exactly. Oh, and always talk about safety. Never try to fix something you're not trained for. Employers love it when you put safety first.
Safety first, problem solving second. Makes total sense. RoleCatcher also mentioned interviewers often ask about quality control. What kind of questions should we expect there?
You might get something like, can you describe your experience with quality control in a paper pulp molding environment? Now, if you've got direct experience, awesome. Go into detail about what you did, what standards you followed, and all those tools and techniques you used. Were you the one inspecting stuff? Did you use any special equipment? Be specific. Show off what you know.
But what if you don't have experience with, like, that specific type of quality control?
No worries. Just talk about how you understand quality control in general. Have you ever had a job where details and being accurate were super important? Maybe you were a cashier balancing the drawer or a barista who had to make those drinks perfect every time. It doesn't have to be directly related, but it shows you can keep those standards high.
So it's all about connecting the dots and showing off those transferable skills again.
Yeah.
Got it. Let's move on to another question that might come up.
Sure.
How do you maintain the paper pulp molding machine to ensure it operates at optimal levels?
This is where you can shine and show them you're responsible and get how important preventative maintenance is. Do you know how to clean it, inspect it, or just do basic upkeep? Even something like changing the oil in your car shows you get that keeping things in good shape prevents bigger problems later.
So being proactive and owning the equipment, basically.
Absolutely. Oh, and remember how RoleCatcher's AI can help you match your answers to those keywords they use in the job description? That's a huge advantage compared to people who aren't using these tools.
It's like having a secret decoder for what the recruiter's looking for.
Amazing.
Okay, now for a question you absolutely got to nail. How do you ensure workplace safety while operating the paper pulp molding machine? No winging it here, eh?
Definitely not. Workplace safety is like the biggest thing in manufacturing. You have to show you know the safety rules, how to use equipment properly, and what to do in an emergency. Have you ever had a job where safety was super important? Share that story and show you're all about a safe working environment.
Sounds like they want someone who doesn't just know the rules, but actually lives by them, right?
Exactly. And remember, RoleCatcher's Copilot AI can give you feedback on how you're saying things so you sound confident and eligible.
Okay, so we've covered some of those big technical questions that might pop up in a paper pulp molding operator interview. But what about those dreaded uh, behavioral questions? They tell me about a time when ones. How do you even prep for those?
Don't worry, RoleCatcher's got your back. Their guide has sample answers for those common behavioral questions, and their AI can help you tailor them to your own experiences. We'll go deeper into those in the next part of our deep dive.
That's a relief. Just thinking about it makes me feel more confident already. Okay, we're back and ready to tackle those behavioral interview questions. They can be a bit tricky, right?
Yeah, they're designed to see how you handle real life stuff? And that's where being prepared really makes a difference. Like, let's look at this one from RoleCatcher's guide. Tell me about a time you had to troubleshoot a machine.
Okay, classic question. I'd probably just blurt out the first problem I remember. But there's got to be a better way to answer.
For sure. Instead of just describing the problem, you want to walk them through how you figured it out. Like, how did you know there was even a problem? What steps did you take? Did you look at the manual, ask a colleague, Google it?
So even if the problem wasn't that complicated, it's more about showing them you have a system for solving things.
Exactly. And if you can, tell them what the results were. Like, did you save time, increase production, prevent an accident? Numbers really stand out.
Makes sense. It's like showing them your actions made a real difference. Okay, how about those multitasking questions? RoleCatcher mentioned something like, how do you prioritize your workload when operating multiple paper pulp molding machines at the same time?
Ah, the multitasking question. They want to know how organized you are and if you can handle pressure. So think about it. Do you have a way to keep track of all those different tasks? Do you use checklists? Prioritize by what's most urgent. Break things down into smaller steps.
So it's not just about running multiple machines, but also talking to your team and keeping everyone in the loop.
Exactly. Tell them how you'd let your coworkers know how things are going, if there are delays, or if you need help. Teamwork is huge in a fast-paced environment.
Right, right. Teamwork makes the dream work, as they say. Okay, RoleCatcher also suggested we might get asked about our leadership skills. Something like, can you describe a time when you had to train a new team member on paper pulp molding machine operation?
This is your chance to show you can explain things clearly, be patient, and adjust how you teach based on the person. Think of a time when you taught someone something complicated. Did you use pictures? Show them hands-on, break it down into smaller pieces.
So it's more than just explaining the steps, right? It's about making sure they understand why things are done a certain way and how to be safe.
Exactly. And tell them how you checked if they were getting it, gave them feedback, and made them feel comfortable asking questions.
Creating that learning environment, helping them succeed. I like it. Okay, RoleCatcher highlights another question that's all about taking initiative. It's, can you describe a time when you implemented process improvements for paper pulp molding machine operation?
Yeah.
What kind of examples would really impress them?
Think about a time you went above and beyond. Did you see a problem, like a bottleneck slowing things down, a safety issue, or a way to make things more efficient? Did you suggest a new tool or technique, something that streamlined the workflow or reduced waste?
So showing them you're not just following orders, but actually thinking about how to make things better.
Yeah, and walk them through how you did it, how you spotted the problem, what information you gathered, the solution you came up with, how you put it into action, and the results. Like, did you boost production, reduce errors, improve safety? Those numbers are what they want to hear.
So it's about being proactive and always looking for ways to improve. Got it. Before we move on from behavioral questions, let's talk about how RoleCatcher's AI can help us nail these answers.
Their Copilot AI is seriously amazing. You can practice your answers and get feedback on everything. What you say, how you say it, even your body language. It looks for those keywords and phrases that match the job description. It gives you that extra edge.
Like a personal interview coach.
Yeah.
I'm really starting to see how useful RoleCatcher is for job seekers.
It's all about giving you the knowledge and the tools to ace that interview and get the job you want. Now, why don't we check out some of the insights from RoleCatcher's career guide? I think it'll help us get ready for the interview and understand this industry even better.
Sounds like a great transition to the next part of our deep dive. We'll be back in a sec to explore those career insights and wrap things up. And we're back for the last part of our deep dive. I gotta say, I'm feeling way more confident about that Paper Pulp Molding Operator interview now. But before we finish up, let's look at some of those big picture career insights from RoleCatcher's guide.
Yeah, it's important to go into that interview not just knowing how to answer questions, but also understanding what's going on in the industry. And it's really interesting. This field is booming right now because everyone's focused on sustainable packaging.
So it sounds like there will be plenty of jobs for Paper Pulp Molding Operators.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And there's room to grow, too. RoleCatcher talks about a bunch of different career paths, like you could become a supervisor, specialize in quality control or maintenance, or even get more training in advanced molding techniques and automation.
Wow, so it's not just a job, it's like a whole career with different options. What kind of skills or certifications would help me move up, climb that ladder?
RoleCatcher suggests checking out certifications in things like quality management systems, lean manufacturing, or specific types of paper pulp molding equipment. They even give you links to training resources right there in the guide.
That's so helpful. It's like they've laid out a plan for success in this whole field. Okay, before we wrap up completely, what are some of the most important things our listeners should remember when they're getting ready for their interview?
Well, the first thing is show them you're excited about this kind of work and that you're ready to learn. Even if you don't have tons of experience, highlight those transferable skills to show you're adaptable and have potential.
Okay, got it. What else?
Make sure you talk about safety. Employers need to know you'll make safety a priority, both for yourself and everyone else. So show them, the safety procedures and that you'll always follow them.
Safety first, right?
Absolutely. And don't be shy about showing off your problem-solving skills and that you're always thinking ahead. Remember those tell me about a time when questions. Have some good examples ready to go that show you take initiative and are always looking for ways to improve things.
And of course, use all those awesome AI tools that RoleCatcher has. Their resume tailoring, the interview practice, and the feedback features. Those can really give you an advantage when you're competing for a job.
It's all about showing your best self and convincing those employers that you're the perfect person for the job.
So if you're thinking about a career in sustainable packaging and you want to be a part of shaping the future of paper products, go check out RoleCatcher. They have a ton of resources, all for free.
Yeah, they've got everything you need to learn about the field, get ready for interviews, and even connect with people in the industry.
And remember, this is just the start. Keep learning new things and leveling up your skills. We're excited for you to take this next step in your journey.
Good luck with that interview.
And that's it for our deep dive into the world of paper pulp molding operators. See you next time for another exciting exploration of careers and knowledge.